I remember April '94, I was a very young diplomat in Japan, and we had almost no news about this genocide against the Tutsi. There was there was no internet then, obviously. We just had some news on the television, some troubles in Africa. That's all, you see. And that's important to understand that before the age of the internet, it was difficult to get information out of these conflict zones, right? At the present, we can follow exactly what's happening in Sudan because internet seems to be working there, or satellite internet, and so much news is getting out of Sudan, so you can build it. But then, of course, there was only television and newspapers, right? So, in that, we did not know what was happening. So in Europe, maybe Europe was so much closer to Africa. So I don't know what happened then, but you see, there was not much knowledge about things in Africa. There was not much understanding, and also there was not so much commitment. We just came out of the Cold War. In the Cold War period, it was very one-dimensional. You were either for us or you were against us. If you were for us, then we would be more willing to help you. And then '94, we had, if I remember correctly, other crises of global impact. I think there was South Africa was moving away from apartheid, the Balkans and so on. And this is no excuse at all. You know, I met General Dallaire several times when I was stationed in Canada. I had long talks with him. I read his book too. And if we understand that how little it would have taken to stop this genocide, at the beginning, the UN mission, the peacekeeping operation, was still strong enough. Yeah. With clear instructions, some reinforcements, this genocide here probably could have been stopped, okay? Now, what happens, something like this, if I imagine being at home, the news come in, the newspaper reports, people will sit down and try to understand what happens. Also, the embassies were evacuated within days from Kigali. So effectively, the flow of information was cut off, right? This does not excuse all the information before the genocide broke out. This has all been documented. Everybody should have known what was coming. We had all this information, you know, the preparations, it was mentioned in the first panel, but it was not acted upon. But after the genocide began, there was very little information coming out, okay? And so governments, some powers had obviously had interests here. Many others did not. It was a lack of interest. It's a lack of humanity, if you like, right? It's a failure. So that's all I can say at the moment. Yeah. But what will we do? I have 3 ideas I would like to put forward about this region. It's not about the diplomatic efforts, I don't know enough about that. One is, obviously, we heard about more than 1,000 indicted perpetrators of the genocide, still roaming around, half of them in the DRC and the other half somewhere else. I mean, these people have been indicted by an international court. These people should be brought to justice. This should be a task for the international community. It's not so hard. We know these people, we have the names, we have a list. This should be done. Secondly, by the way, in Germany, we tried and sentenced several FDLR leaders to prison sentences. Secondly, the FDLR, if you remember, there were efforts to pursue and destroy the ADF in northeastern Congo, even involving 1 or 2 Western powers, I don't remember. So I think the FDLR needs to be destroyed if necessary, or dismembered. It should not exist anymore. And this is what we need, some commitment for this to happen. How can it be? Imagine, it's a bit maybe simplistic comparison, a Nazi SS division, fully armed, operating somewhere. Nobody would tolerate that. But this is what we're having with the FDLR, right? Sometimes they're weak, if necessary, they're armed and they get strong again. Why is this outfit still out there, you know? It's, thirdly, I would like to think about, when we look at the reform of the international system, to establish once genocidal actions are observed anywhere, to have an automatic triggering system, triggering compulsory action, which cannot be vetoed. It's compulsory for the international institution, be it the African Union, for example, or United Nations, or whatever other regional organization, continental organizations there may be, to follow up on this immediately.
Yeah.
Yes, details have to be worked out. It's never that easy, but we always see, even if we get information, there's no action, right? So if we have an automatic triggering mechanism to at least send missions to find out exactly what's happening on the ground and even take further action, and without any veto possibilities by the Security Council, this may be helpful. Thank you.
All right, thank you. What's your commitment? Just one line. Commitment?
Well, you know, I'm just a retired civil servant, but I will do whatever I can. I like the people in this region, and I've spent several years of my life here. I even grew up 3 years in Sudan when I was a very small child. I've worked in Ethiopia, I've worked in Eritrea, I've spent more than a year in Nigeria. I like this region, and I will do whatever I can to contribute in a constructive way, or where I am needed, I will commit myself.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Ambassador Peter.